Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Zero Hour. You know, a lot of Washington was buzzing this week with the video released, I believe, by the website Daily Caller, showing Jonathan Gruber, the economist and White House advisor who was one of the principal architects of Obamacare, if not the principal architect, appearing to insult and mock the intelligence of the American voter. Now, in the audio clip we're about to play, he's talking about the reasons why the law was made and written, as he says, to be obscure and not to publicize the true economic impact of it on middle-class Americans. Let's take a listen.
It's just, you can't do it politically. You just literally cannot do it. Okay? Transparent financing, unless I have transparent financing, also transparent spending. I mean, this bill was written in a tortured way to make sure CBO did not score the mandate as taxes. If CBO scored the mandate as taxes, the bill dies. Okay? So it's written to do that. In terms of risk-rated subsidies, if you had a law which said healthy people are going to pay in, it made explicit that healthy people pay in and sick people get money, it would not have passed. Okay, just like lack of transparency is a huge political advantage, and basically, call it the stupidity of the American voter or whatever. But basically, that was really, really critical to getting the thing to pass. And, it's the second best argument. Look, I wish Mark was right. We can make it all transparent, but I'd rather have this law than not. So it's kind of like his reporter story. Yeah, there's things I wish I could change, but I'd rather have this law than not.
Now, I don't want to join in the right-wing pile-on to Obama advisor Jonathan Gruber. I want to do my own pile-on, and I'm about to do it. Okay, first of all, whenever somebody says these words, which were Gruber's words, I don't want to mislead people, but, and I quote, I'd rather have this law than not. They don't get the basic principle of democracy, which is it's not what you want that matters. It's what the people want. So, number one, Jonathan Gruber is basically saying that he and his colleagues in the White House wanted this law, and so they were going to present it obscuring the truth rather than making the truth transparent in order to get what they want. That is absolutely unacceptable. And if Democrats are baffled and shocked that people as disingenuous and immoral and unethical and greedy and self-serving as the Republican Party just whipped them well beyond what was expected based on trends and so on, they need look no further than this attitude of arrogance, which needs to be purged from both political parties, number one. Number two, Gruber's remarks underscore something that made me a critic of this law early on, which is the way the individual mandate was structured. It did, in fact, require people to subsidize the cost of higher cost older people and so on. So young people, healthier people, subsidizing sicker people and older people in order to preserve the profits of the insurance companies. Now, if you're going to use for-profit insurance companies as the main engine of your policy, you better be out front about the role they're expected to play in all of this. So again, the deception, I don't know why they thought it was going to work, by the way, because people may not understand the math, but they're still uncomfortable with the law. Another thing, if you're going to suspend the employer mandate, but still keep the individual mandate, as they've done, you're really saying you want the middle class to subsidize this program, but you're not willing to go to the mat to make wealthy corporations pick up their share. Although, to be fair, wealthy corporations, most of them are already providing insurance coverage. But lastly, and I think more importantly, when someone in a position of power talks about the stupidity of the American voter, it is absolutely unacceptable. Now, Jonathan Gruber was a principal architect of Romney Care when Mitt Romney was governor of Massachusetts. He was a principal architect of Obamacare, which is essentially the same law. And it should not be acceptable for an advisor to either party to have this attitude. It speaks of something rotten in the so-called bipartisan consensus about what's best for this country. So what lessons do I get out of this? Number one, I'm more committed to single payer than ever, because you cannot please the insurance companies and have a simple and decent insurance system. And number two, that quote unquote centrist consensus that rules people in the city of Washington no longer works for America. It's arrogant, it's out of touch, and we need a democracy that works. Until then, we will continue to have exposés like this one. I'm Richard RJ Eskow, and this is The Zero Hour.